Good morning, YouTube fans. This is Dr. Matthew Johnson. It is Friday, April 28, 2017, 10:53 in the morning. We have just finished our fourth night in Soya and we are heading back home. But before we go, we have our traditional and obligatory video testimonies, regardless of how messed up we all look. Okay, so here we go. First up to bat is
Tim Collins.
From where?
Michigan.
Michigan. What happened, Tim?
First night, I was touched on the thigh first. It felt like a electrical shock, perhaps about the size of a quarter or $50, somewhere in between. They left. They came back a few minutes later, touched my calf with 3 fingers, and I had that same electrical shock. And then from the calf, they went directly to the toes. They started on the right foot, small toe, working up to the great toe, then over to the other side, every toe they touched, and then they left. Then just last night, while I was at the campfire, while there was been footsteps all around anyways, we could hear them every night. But last night I was kind of by the campfire, and one of them called my name. It was definitely a female. And then a couple of seconds later, they wrapped their arms around me and gave me a big hug. So that's totally new experiences for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up to bat, my beautiful fiance. What's your name?
Cynthia Kreitzberg.
Where are you from?
I am from Puyallup, Washington.
Okay. And?
Lots and lots of footsteps, laying in the cot at night and hearing them go by my head about 3 or 4 times. And lots of voices.
Okay.
And then some glow orbs. We saw a big red orb out on a night walk that was about the size of a kid's kickball.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Sure that wasn't a fire engine light from a fire truck?
Pretty sure we would have seen the fire truck if it was up here crashing through the trees.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just double checking, just trying to be objective. Next up to bat, we have
Dr. Daniel Riley.
Doctor of what?
Doctor of Psychiatry.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh, shriek!
With 30 years of experience.
And
I had a phenomenal experience, and you can, watch details on my individual video. However, just a couple of highlights. Yes, I heard footsteps. Yes, I heard them speaking. And yes, they did touch me in the most tender way on my hand. So that's about it.
Awesome. Watch his independent video. It's hilarious and very informative. Next up to bat, Mike Kincaid.
Hey there. So let's see, stuff I experienced this time was awesome people. Except for the rain the first two nights. We got some nice sunshine now, so that's really nice. But I got my boot poked, I got my side pushed, I got in bed, I got kind of my energy washes, which I've been getting, which is like a part of my body which you'll feel like a kind of like a goosebumpy kind of feeling, but then it'll just spray out all over the place. It's really cool. And then gosh, what else? Up on the hill, I saw a red pop of a light, pretty large one. One red flash over in this direction. And actually, that tree right behind us, right up here, it was the stars were out. It's right up that way. Yeah, that tree right there.
Okay.
But I'm lying in my bed and staring at it, and pow! Right at the top of it is a nice white flash of light, and I'm like, is that a star behind it? Because the stars were out. But no, there was no star behind that spot, not that bright. And then the weirdest thing, I've been asking since for the whole trip. It's like a sign of appreciation for the Exodus thing, and wasn't really getting anything. Everybody else is getting awesome stuff. Well, I'm getting stuff.
Like the Exodus really happened. Okay, Mike, keep going, man. Anyway.
And so, I need something really obvious before I really believe. And so I was in my truck in the passenger side front seat, changing my clothes out, and then took my wallet out, took my stuff, and well, actually left my wallet in my pants, but took the other stuff out and put it in the what do you call it, between the cars, the console between the cars, set it on top of there, and then I changed my clothes, put all the stuff back in my pocket, and then I realized oh, take my clothes to the back of the car. Then I realized, oh, where's my wallet? You know, so I go back to go get my wallet, and then go back to the console, and there's a quarter sitting on the console that was not there. Because I searched when I was looking for my wallet. I was searching everywhere, right in that console area. Go back, get my wallet out of the back, come back, quarters like sitting on the console. It's just it appeared out of nowhere within 5 seconds. So that was my confirmation. That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Next up to bat, we have
Christine DeBastiani from Gainesville, Florida.
Florida.
Yep.
Awesome. Go Gators.
So, oh my gosh, so I heard a lot of grunts and noises, girls speaking like like that over here.
Okay.
I smelt when we went on a hike one evening. We were coming back down. I smelt like sweet, spicy, woodsy smell, and who was I with? Tim? Who was I with? Dan? I can't remember. But anyways, they smelt it as well. And the next morning, what's that? Oh, thanks. The next morning, we were looking at something over here that might have been a footprint, and Chris was pointing at it, and I got down to take a picture of it, but I had to put my arm around him, and he smelled exactly like that smell.
Wow.
That I smelled.
Okay.
And so I got poked at night. Last night it was really, really windy, and I woke up, and Tim had gotten up to go to the bathroom, and he asked me what time it was, and I said like 4:18. And I remember thinking, damn, there's still a lot more time left. We have to sleep. And so anyways, but I heard the gusts of wind coming through. And so I thought, well, okay, well, that definitely the tarp and the canopy and everything would move because of that, which it did. But then once the wind left, I still heard somebody walking around my cot. I was not in my cot. I was sleeping next to Tim last night, and I heard him walking around my cot, not heavy footsteps, but like lighter, medium size. And then they would stop at the side of my cot, and I was praying, and I said, you know, please don't scare me, because I'm really frightened, and don't scare me, but you know, please just go visit Chris. Just go see Chris, and that's all you need to do. And then it would leave. And then it would come back, and it would play with the tarp and move my stuff around, and then come back and check on me. And I was talking to it in my mind, and then it would leave. And it did that maybe 3 times.
Okay.
Dug through your personal stuff.
Yeah, I dug through my personal stuff on the cot, because we had everything laying there, which is fine.
The young ones like to do that.
It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't
me.
me.
Well, and then this morning when we went to go, I took a picture of Chris's campsite where he was before, and he was still sleeping, and I saw the tarps were totally off and gone. And then I went past him, and I saw like a pine, what is that, pine frond? Something like that. I don't know, there, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, because there aren't any trees like that around here. But then I went past, and I saw a bunch of berries on the ground. And I just thought, well, that's weird. There's no berries like that around here.
No.
But I didn't say anything, because I don't know, I didn't think anything of it. But then Chris mentioned it later in his experience. But
I want to interject something there, by the way. No, that wasn't black bear poo with berries in it. It was just berries.
Yeah.
It wasn't poo with berries. It was just berries.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard like grunts and stuff that sounded like like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think they were very respectful, and they knew that this is my first time, and I was afraid. Although when I was when we were all here, I was very calm, very calm, and everything was very peaceful. And even last night when I was afraid, I still found myself smiling. Actually, I don't know why. You know, I said, you know, please don't scare me, and then I would smile when I would hear them or hear the one around. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Last but not least,
Hi, Chris Petrus, South Carolina. And before I came out here, I was on what you consider to be an on-the-fence skeptic. Had evidence that supported it, but I've never actually seen one. Still have not seen one. But last night and throughout the entire week, I have heard foot stomps. I have heard calls. I've heard wood pops that people refer to as wood knocks. Last night was the most active one. First night, I had an experience where I felt like I was being touched a little bit through the sleeping bag. or through the bivvy. Then something happened the next day. We found out in town, which that'll be on a personal note or a different video, hopefully. But nonetheless, last night was the most active. We all said it was our last night here, or at least I did, and I said thank you for allowing us to be here. Everybody was seeing all this eye shine. They were seeing all this experience. They could hear things. They could hear activity going on around them. One of the guys, Mike, he had his back of his foot apparently was kicked. And when he was sitting in a chair, nobody could have reached that. So he was kind of flabbergasted on that. I went to bed. My camp was isolated away from everybody else's because I'm here for another reason, and which is also on another independent YouTube video that we shot. But last night I had the most activity I have ever had in my entire life. I had, let's see, I could hear, it sounded like everything was just going chaos all around me. It was just, I thought I heard just people chitter chattering and just chattering around. I heard wood pops in the woods. I heard footsteps around. I heard louder, deeper voices up above camp where everybody else was, but yet they were all asleep. This right here was probably in the early morning hours because the sun definitely was not up. I was pulled off the end of my cot. I feel like gently. Oh yeah, it was gently. It was nothing was ever violent, and the whole time I remained completely. I was completely at peace, and I never felt any fear. Never felt anything at all pertaining to that. It's just it was coming off, and I felt what felt like a just a thin arm. It was almost like a mid-size. I don't know. It's just literally it's like going down and somebody's handing you their arm and you're grabbing it. But I kept trying to. I was in a bivy sack I couldn't get out of. It was one of those military spec ones with 2 sleeping bags in it, so I was stuck in it. And I ended up having to pull myself back up on the cot on the mat. And then this morning when I woke up, which they've already taken pictures of, they found my emergency blanket, which is pretty thick. It's one of those heavy-duty ones over me, that I had over me, with the tarp over me. Both completely gone in both directions. And where I was, the wind wasn't as likely to hit me because I was more or less downhill from everything and everyone. And on top of that, we found, when we were talking about the berries, that no, bear didn't, it wasn't scat. It was actual berries. It was actually in the shape of a little heart, apparently. But we found imprints. I found, it was almost like impressions, almost like a big body sitting in the grasses that was around where my whole, I guess my campsite was, but nonetheless, I can't explain it. I'm definitely from an on-the-fence skeptic to definite believer on that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life, and I'm grateful for it.
So, Mr. Chris Petros, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you like the Kool-Aid now?
Oh, the Kool-Aid was great. Yeah, no, it seriously, what... No, the Kool-Aid was fantastic, but no, there was no hoaxing, there was no planning. Everybody kept everything to themselves.
No mind control.
No mind control. There was no, let's rehearse this. What if? Nothing like that. Everybody had, from what I understand, their own independent experiences. Some had more than I did. By all means, last night was my humdinger, but also mine was also, again, up here for different reasons, which you can see on another video that we had filmed.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, his experience I'll never forget.
How about the glyph? I forgot about that.
Yeah. Also found I was a big fan before I realized what we were dealing with, and I figured out several trailblazing signs as I thought. We found what looked like a tree sign. If anybody's out there into Bigfooting, they ever see the X's on the side and they think, oh, it's just a tree that dropped. One of the other people that were in the group, Christine, she took a picture of it. I told her that if you put a compass on top of it and you take a look at it, it should point exactly north, south, east, west. We pulled it up, put the compass on top of it. Sure enough, it pointed exactly north, south, east, and west. There was no deviating off of it at all. And then on top of that as well, again, the X marks, normally from what I understood, was danger is up ahead, you know, basically being seen by people, and literally the camp was 50 to 100 feet away, or at least where all the vehicles were. And that's what I had learned through the years that I went by, and it led me to other signs that led to more somewhat evidence and activity. And which I have other people that had gone with me that experienced it as well, so I was never alone, and they were all credible. So I'm not part of some hoax, I'm not part of some group, I'm not a troll. I try to debunk everything. And
you're not a mindless minion?
I don't know about that. I don't think so. Hope not. But nonetheless, the big thing is I'm one of those that I need to see to believe it. I try to debunk everything that I can until there's nothing left to debunk. And before I can say it's definitively this, I have no explanation. Absolutely none, other than we had forced people encounters. And if you watch the independent video that we shot earlier, I'm hoping when I go back, there's something I need to do, which Dr. Matthew Johnson will find out about it. He's going to know either way. And I'm going to give him both sides of that story, which he already knows, but all of you will find out, possibly. But either way, we'll see how it goes. But awesome. I had a great time, and I love it up here. I really don't want to go back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm stepping in for my last little bit. So, some things happened, but my favorite thing was I was sleeping over in that direction next to Cynthia's cot, and it was raining the first 2 nights, so we had this big old tarp over our beds. And I heard the pitter-patter of 2 young feet come over to the head of my cot. And I'm about to get photobombed here, I think. No. Anyway, so these 2 young ones were like trying to get the tarp up, and you can tell they were frustrated. They finally got underneath the tarp, and they were putting their little hands all over my head and going, "Matt, Matt, Matt!" And they looked much prettier than that right there. So anyway, so that was pretty cool. And then Dad was kind of standing over the side, and and they kind of like stopped and like, oh, okay, so like leave them alone. So they went away. So lots of cool stuff happened up here. Anxious to hear about what happens with Chris after he goes back east. And had a great time with a lot of great people. And by the way, this was only half the group. We actually started off with almost twice as much. Oh my God, there's a mic in gate. Oh. So anyway, but they had to go. So great time, great people, great experience here. And hope you're all doing well. And the Great Reveal 4-part series is going to be posted on the weekend of Saturday, Sunday, May 6th and 7th. The gentleman who filmed it in HD, is having difficulty sending it to me over the internet. So I have to drive out to Western Washington, pick up the thumb drive and download it onto my own laptop. So anyway, it's going to be posted soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to scroll down and watch all the other YouTube videos. This is Dr. J signing out.